think archives are important for future generations' research interests, as well as communities' identity building.
When you study the past, you're much better equipped to deal with the future, because you know how people have faced similar problems. They're never the same. Similar problems in the past, and what sort of solutions that they've come up with. You can never use the same solutions, but you can certainly use you know what happened, so that's the advantage of hindsight, and that always helps when dealing with incoming challenges.
Well, actually, this AFECT project is very important because, as we see in the current war, in Russian-Ukrainian war, archives, people, traumas, effects are very important, and these topics really cover all of this. Also, archives.
Archives play a very important role in time of emergency, in time of war conflicts, because they are vital for preserving our cultural heritage, for preserving a national identity. And it's very important to discuss these problems under the workshops devoted to the problems of remembering, forgetting.
Emotions are a really useful way, I think, for historians to think about change in the past. I think mapping, understanding, trying to explain how things change is one of the central tasks. It's not the only task, but it's one of the central tasks of historians. And if we look at how emotions change, that can lead us to thinking about why these change. It can be both a really interesting way into thinking about individual lives and individual experiences, but also a really helpful way about thinking about wider social change. So why, for example, does Britain, or how does Britain get from being a society which understands itself as being very stoical, as very restrained, as having a stiff upper lip in the mid-20th century, to a society where emotion is everywhere and emotional restraint or containment is seen as pathological, as unhealthy by the end of the 20th century. And I think if we really start to explore those questions, it can open up all kinds of really interesting areas of historical research and encourage us to think about historical change in different kind of ways.
You know, I was really impressed about this workshop about emotion study, because it's something very new for Ukrainian historians, and to realize that emotions is something that really exists. It's not only that something that reflects on events, but it's something that we need to study and need to discuss how they influence on people, on what they do, what they mean, and it's mostly it's very important nowadays when we study full-scale Russian invasion against Ukraine, and when we conducted such kinds of testimonies, when emotions is, in my opinion, it's something that's maybe most important than science value of these testimonies, the emotional side.